Hello, everybody. Welcome to IT Skills channel. My name is Aiden. In today's video, we're going to look at nested virtualization. Nested virtualization is very awesome. We're going to take a look at that. We're going to actually do that through Nutanix because we can, right? We have enough storage, we have enough memory, we have enough compute. So we're going to go ahead and actually do a nested virtualization. We will start with this video by Hyper-V. We're going to do Hyper-V nested virtualization, but we might try Proxmox. We might try, VMware. We might make a, virtualization out of those and inside our Nutanix and run another VMs inside of there. So it's gonna be like VMs running VMs or running another VMs again. So we could make it all sophisticated, but in this one, it's going to be simple. We're going to have Nutanix, which is a hypervisor. We're going to deploy a VM, in this case, a server 2022 with Hyper-V enabled. And then we're going to tell that server, allow nested VM to work. And that's all we're going to do. And we can go from there. So without further ado, let's switch over to our Nutanix environment and take a look at this. So for the rest of the video, you won't be seeing me because I'm going to be doing a lot of things and we can use any real estate we can on the screen. Also, before I leave you guys, I know that there's about 90% of 95% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel. If you like this type of content, please subscribe. It's really free. It will help us so much. We are a small channel. To survive in YouTube, it's not easy. And we have been doing this content, consistent content, for a while now. Of course, we don't have an editor, we don't have a dedicated, content, manager, etc. We're doing our best. This is literally we have to make the video, edit it, post it all ourselves. So it's really a lot, and I'm doing what I can, but I will help. I could use your help, guys. Thank you. Please give a like, and for this video, let's please get at least 20 likes. Not too much to ask. I appreciate your help again. Thanks. Bye bye. So, as I said, we're going to do nested virtualization and we're going to do this all through Nutanix. So, first things first, let's switch over to our Nutanix portal and show you what nested virtualization looks like. So, this is a Hyper-V running in our Nutanix. This is running our Nutanix because you can see it is referenced in this IP is a Nutanix Prism console. This Hyper-V is specifically called connected to Hyper-V Labs. I just put in Hyper-V Labs, but if I wanted to minimize this, I can show you real quick what I mean by that. So let's come over here and come over here to show you that this is what we connected to right now. We're connected to this right now, and we basically give it 16 core, 30 gig of memory, and we gave it about 135 gig of storage. So we're gonna do similar thing, and you can see over here, going back to the Hyper-V that's nested, you're going to see that we're running server 2025 preview and we can connect to it. And it's going to be connecting in a second. And that's what we're talking about. So you're running Hyper-V, which is already virtualized in Nutanix, and we made another VM inside of it. So this is what we're going to accomplish in this video, or trying to accomplish in this video. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's get an overview first, because you do need enough memory for this. You can see I have still 2 terabyte of storage. Memory, I'm only using 65% because of the fact that I'm doing that. So let me go ahead and do the similar thing over here. So we're going to go to VM. We're going to create a new VM. And we're going to call this one Hyper-V, just Hyper-V, nested. And now we're going to leave that alone. We're going to give it again. This time we're going to give it 20 cores. And we're going to just give it a lot. We're going to give it 10, core per CPU. And then we're going to give it also another 30 gigabyte of memory. Again, we can do this because we can, right? And if you could not do this, then it's not a problem to you at all. But you could try to make it simple. And so in this case, we're going to go ahead and try to make this machine as powerful as we can. We're going to first of all put an ISO And we're going to select our ISO from an image. And then we're going to go ahead and choose Windows Server 2022, update it. We're going to go ahead and again, add a disk. In this case, before we add the ISO, we're gonna add a virtual driver for Nutanix. So we're gonna click on here, CD-ROM, select image, ISATA, and we're gonna add the Nutanix virtual driver. That's how we can read our storage. And then we can go ahead, the disk, we're gonna put it in this container, and we're gonna call this, we're gonna give it about, let's just say 150. And hit add. Now the NIC, we're gonna give it the default. We only have one NIC. That's it. So we got all this set up. We like the way it is. Now the CPU, I might have to chop it down, but right now we can enable secure boot. And that's fine. And we're gonna also change the IDE. If I have any ID, I can change it. So right now it says here, please the IDE are not supported by secure boot. We know, and I shouldn't have IDE anywhere. If I do, then it's a problem. So we're gonna hit save. And it's gonna try to create that VM. It's created already. There you go. So this machine has 200 cores. That is a lot. Hold on. I need to change that because I think we don't even have 200 cores. We do not have it. So let's come over here and let's make this one 8. 8. Let's make it more reasonable, realistic. Yeah, 64 cores is fine. How many cores do I have left right now? So yeah, I should be good with that. But to be honest with you, we're gonna even downsize it even more because we don't want to bring the cluster to halt. 8 CPU, 4 cores. 4 per CPU. Now it should be 32. Yep, that's better. That is better. So let's come over here and power on the VM. Also, another disclaimer. This video is going to be cut into little pieces in the sense that I'm going to fast forward the boring stuff. If you think, if you want to follow along the entirety of it, I can put it in the member section. So if you want to go ahead and put it yourself in as a subscribe as a member, then you can see the whole nitty gritty. I won't leave any part out. But to make sure that, the video is under, 30 minutes, we're going to cut down a lot to make it to show you only the interesting part. But sometimes I know as a tech, you guys want to see all the pieces, and this is where we're going to need to do that. So that's what an option for you guys. Again, let's go back to the video. This is where we're going to add the Nutanix driver. So right now you didn't find a disk. We will attach the Nutanix Vert.io disk driver, and that will find all the drivers we need to be able to do this. This is where the fun is actually. And this is not exactly OMS 102, so let me hide this. But this is where the fun is. We logged into the brand new server. The server is ready. Now we can do the necessary commands to make sure the server will work with the nested virtualization. By default, out of the box, Nutanix does not support that. In this case, we're using Nutanix, so we're going to want it to enable that. If we don't enable it, we're not going to be able to work. In fact, I'll show you. Let's go there and decide to do a nested VM without doing anything and see what will happen. So you can see here, we're logged into a brand new server. we're gonna find out that it's actually the server we want to, in this case, server 2022, by doing that, invert, and then you can also go to the File Explorer menu, and then you go right click this properties. You're gonna see the server has basically 8 processor and total 32 basically. So you can see that this server is beefy. And if I decided to go to systems information, this will give you an idea, just a sense what the server is running to. So it's running on that, it's giving us all the information of the server. Obviously, the environment is being run on, it's running on the Nutanix HV, and then you can see the storage and the memory allocation type. So you can see more information. But if you click on hardware, you can see the IO, memory is okay. You can see a lot more. There's a little conflict sharing, but that's fine. But overall, the summary of it, the server looks good. Now let's go ahead and try to install the Hyper-V Manager real quick. So we're going to go to Server Manager, and then we're going to add a role. This will allow us to install a Hyper-V Manager or Hyper-V role. Before we do that, actually, I usually want to name the server accordingly, but in this case, we just need to move fast on the video. So we're going to install a Hyper-V role. This will also include the Hyper-V Manager. That's fine. Installing the Hyper-V, it will not even let us do it without enabling what you call the nested virtualization. So you can see here, Hyper-V cannot be installed. The processor does not have required virtualization capabilities. Well, it does, but we got to make it supported. So let's go ahead and do this. So the first thing we're going to do is first, we're going to need to run a PowerShell command line. On the PowerShell, we're going to need to connect to SSH into our Nutanix node. So let's do this real quick. We just renamed the VM to match with the display name of Nutanix console. What our hope is to try to get to a consistency and also troubleshooting at this real time while we're making the video. As you know, whenever you're doing IT lab, nothing can, something always will go wrong. And especially when you're doing something that's not supported out of the box. But one thing we don't do is we don't give up. And I think I know the problem too, honestly. So this VM got to be powered off. That's another thing. When the VM is powered on, it can make the change. So that's another thing. So command we've been running, it was no problem there. This is the command we've been running, update VM. We can run ACLI, VM update. This example we're running. So the VM has to be turned off. Otherwise, you can't make a CPU change while it's on. So that's a processor change. So if we run this now, we should technically be in clear. And I'm going to copy this command. We have to make sure first our Nutanix node is turned off, or our Nutanix VM is turned off. It's turned off. And you can see by turning off, we're able to get a lot of, cluster of, resources go back to normal. But what we need to do now is, while it's off, come back to PowerShell, because when it was on, it was saying pending, and it says cannot complete, cannot complete the request in the state on. So that's why it tells you. It doesn't tell you much, but it's also closed our SSH connection. So let's add a SSH back 120, and then let's connect to our. So now that we did this, we're gonna just paste it in. That should be able to change the basically the nested VM for this. So let's hit enter. It says complete. There you go. So whenever you're doing this, make sure the power is off. Now that we did this, let's go back and to our Nutanix. We're gonna go ahead, turn it on. Once we turn it on, then this VM should allow us to install Hyper-V. And I'm gonna do one for Proxmox. I haven't played with it. I want to see what it's like. I'm also gonna do one for VMware. I'm definitely curious about VMware. How is it gonna work with it? But we're gonna probably do the VMware first, to be honest with you, because I already have all that, ISO and everything, ready, and we can go from there. So now we wait. We shall wait now. All right, we're logged in and it's ready. We can now go ahead, try to do something here. We're gonna go to server manager, it's loading for us. And after that, it's the fun stuff basically. We're gonna go ahead and do the ISO mounts and etc. So let's go ahead, add roles and future. It's not ready yet quite. And actually, another thing I should be doing is while it's doing this, I'm gonna connect this through RDP because I need to be able to copy and ISO. So I can't do it without doing that. So let's come over here, enable remote desktop. Yes, confirm. And yeah, it's enabled. And so now what we need to do is go back to server manager, add the roles and future, add roles and futures, hit next and next. If you remember earlier on, we were able to get an issue when we tried to install Hyper-V clicking on it. So we're gonna hit now select, add features, and it shouldn't have a problem with us now. Once the check mark is clear, then we're good. This is how our VM is now nested and it's enabled. The fact that we can go through this phase, it means that we have done it. This VM now thinks is effectively has the capability to do virtualization, CP virtualization. So now allow the server to send live migration, whatever, that's fine. We're gonna put it on the C drive, that's fine. Honestly, we don't care how this works. We just simply we're trying to, test this feature. And we literally not using this for production yet. Because why? Why will we use it for production if we can do this on Nutanix? And so, but if you are doing this, let's just say you want to learn a different hypervisor, this will not be a bad move. If you're, let's just say sloppy on your Hyper-V skills, you could definitely upgrade it. And I'm trying to actually stay on top of all the hypervisors for this channel. So it'll be interesting to see what I can do with it once I really, allocate enough memory and maybe have one of my domain controller run that. So what we're gonna do is now while it's running, installing the Hyper-V role, we're gonna actually do this. We wait for it, so we're gonna just type in Hyper-V nested. It's rebooting right now. We told it to restart whenever you're done installing it. This is because it's making changes to the VM structure. It has to do reboot. Once it finish rebooting, then we'll go ahead and actually connect to it remotely. And I need to unmount this ISO, but that's another story we can deal with another time. All right, so it's ready now. Let's just connect to the VRDP. It's ready for us to connect to it. I'm trying to do another user, more options, different user. that backslash administrator, and then put in our password. This is not joined to the domain or anything, so it's a standalone server. And we're gonna hit yes. Now we're gonna get a full screen of the server that we made it into that, or if we should get it, at least I should say. There you go, we got it. Now it's giving us a lot of real estate to do whatever we want to. Now we need to go ahead on the server manager. We need to come to tools and open Hyper-V Manager, or you can simply search for that. But we're gonna open Hyper-V Manager. And before we do anything crazy in Hyper-V Manager, we need to get an ISO real quick. Give us an ISO. I should have an ISO somewhere over here. Let's see. In my files here, do I have any ISO downloaded? You never know what I downloaded. So we do have a server 2022.2025 downloaded. So let's go ahead and paste the ISO in here. Because it's through RDP, we can paste directly ISOs directly there. And so we open File Manager. We'll put in the downloads. Even though we didn't download this, we can paste that here. Let the ISO get copied here. It's going to take some time because we're letting this VM do so much already. I hope it doesn't take an hour and 45 minutes because that means I'm just going to go ahead and download it from the internet, because that estimation, it seems like it's extremely off. There's no way I can wait for an hour and 25. So we're just going to probably just download the server 2025 from the internet. Let me download that real quick. And this actually looks like our server download has been finished successfully. We do have 1 gig pipeline, so I was surprised when he said it's going to take me an hour and 45 minutes to copy the file. That's why I made a decision to go ahead and do that. So we're going to do the VHD another time. We're going to just continue right now because VHD is nice over here. VHDX, we can confirm and download it, but it might be bigger. Let's see if it's too much. We're going to choose the language, confirm. We can download a VHDX as well. Yeah, it's 10 gigs, so it's a lot bigger, but you know, you get the idea. I think I might actually go with a VHD, to be honest with you right now, because the idea for me, this is not to show you how to configure Windows. It's for me to show you that this thing can run Windows inside the nested VMs. And if we could do the VHD, I think that will may save us some time. And we're not gonna have to wait much longer. It's only 4 minutes. At this point, I want to just talk about it while this has been downloading the VHD. So you've seen so far how we can go ahead, configure our Nutanix environment to have the VM, to have nested capabilities, nested CP virtualization capabilities. We did the nested virtualization capability. We're now, enable Hyper-V as you saw. And now we're going to go ahead and insert the VHD whenever it's finished and try to launch the VHD from Server 2025 preview. And that's ultimately what we were trying to accomplish in this video. Hopefully you enjoy this type of video. If you do, don't forget to like this video, please. It will help us the channel. It will help us so much. It will help the channel, and we can bring you more content like this. But now let's go back to it. Let's insert the VHD, and that's it. So let's go finish it. We got about 10 seconds left now. So it's definitely faster. And I mean, I did this pretty much, a couple minutes ago, and now we're done with the download of 10 gigabyte. That's why the days of computers, download taking you so forever is gone, you know, and it's literally nice. There you go. Our VHD is done. So now we're going to go ahead. You can import a virtual machine if we wanted to, and then it will just tell us, where you want to import the virtual machine from, virtual machine type, etc. And we could do that. In this case, we could just come over here to The downloads is where we downloaded our virtual, like we can select the download folder, and then we're gonna hit next. And if there was any virtual machine, you could see that. But I don't have virtual machine to import. So we're gonna create a new virtual machine from, click on virtual machine. So what this is gonna do is when you click new and then virtual machine, which we did, you're gonna hit next to begin. We're just gonna call it Win Server 2025. We can store in the default location, no problem. We're gonna make a Gen 2. There's nobody should be using Gen 1. And we're gonna make this one actually 8192. Give it 8 GB. We're gonna do connected, the network, the Nutanix network that we passed through. And then the ISO, we're gonna say give it 60 gig. Why not? And then we're gonna go ahead. Actually, we have an existing VHD to attach. So let's come over here, choose our existing VHD. We're not creating new VHD, so we're gonna say click on here. Ideally, when you're doing this, you wanted to move your VHD somewhere else, that in the production folder maybe. But I'm just using from the downloads. That's fine. And it says it's ready. We're gonna hit finish. The next thing is before you turn on this VM, you want to click on the settings of the VMs, confirm a couple things, and enable a couple features. So you can see right now you can enable secure boot, you can enable TPM, you can see the memory you got 8 gig, and you can also enable the number of processors. I'm gonna just give it 3 processors at this point because once you turn on the VM, you can't do this anymore. You can enable dynamic memory or keep it static. I keep it static right now. You can also, check the production type, create a standard checkpoint. You can make it standard. You can see the VM location and other things. So right now, effectively, we're ready to launch. Let's launch it. There's 2 ways to do this. You can right click, turn it on, or you can come over here to hit start. I'm just gonna hit the start. That's effectively turning on the VM for us. So now that it's turned on, we're gonna need to kind of launch the console, hit connect in this case. And it's gonna take a second because sometimes with Hyper-V it does that. And I've especially with me running on a nested situation, it's not gonna be seamless speed. So there you go. It's loading the windows through VHD. I'm making a full screen so that you can see here Hyper-V. I just saved us probably about 10 minutes of going through Windows installation and by doing the VHD method. All right, so it's ready. Now it wants us to go ahead and to choose our language preferences. It's fine. And then if we have a product key, we will enter that. We're gonna hit later. We're gonna hit, put in our default admin password. Same thing again. It's definitely this resolution is all out of whack. So let me make it. Still out of whack. So let's make sure that we can actually, yeah, the resolution is definitely out of whack. So we need to fix that. But for now, we're gonna hit Control Alt Delete. Not the settings, obviously. You went to settings by accident. Control Delete to unlock it. And we're gonna sign in and we're gonna adjust the resolution for a little bit. It's doing the user profile service, creating a new user profile for us. All right, so we are logged in now. Let's change our resolution real quick to come match what we got in our device. So let's come to display settings. We're gonna make our resolution big. We're doing 1024 now, which is sucks. We do 1920. We're gonna keep it for now. There you go. So this is what we're dealing with right now. This is our effectively a brand new server 2025. I know it looks like Windows 11, but it's not Windows 11. This is what Microsoft is going for. They love the Windows 11 design, and they're making it known to people that hey, if you don't like Windows 11, then you're gonna hate our new server. But if you love Windows 11, you're gonna love their new server. Here it is, server Windows Server 2025 Data Edition. So now it has a branding of it. This is the evaluation copy expired September. So we got 3 months equals 90 days. So really great. And obviously there's other things we can do here. Let's check the specs for a second. So on the specs, you can see I have 8 gig. You know, the CPU is there. You can see the processor. Everything is all nice. Now let's try something too. We can go to server manager. We're already in server manager. We can add roles and features. We can do next, next, next. We can add any role we want to, Active Directory, other things, or we can even add, let's see if Hyper-V supports nested VM by default. Now, keep in mind that we're already doing nested inside of this is running inside Nutanix that's already nested setup, and then we're trying to do another nested, so that's like nested, nested, nested. So you're doing it's gonna become like a layer of, let's just say, yeah, you can't do it obviously because I didn't enable it, and I don't want to enable it. That's too much of nestedness going on. But right now you can see this server is effectively ready. We want to do something we can do with it. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna have the time for. That's all the time we have for. But yeah, you've seen it, guys. That's all the time we have for in this video. And you saw how we can go ahead, start a brand new server installation in Nutanix, Nutanix Starter Guide, Starter Edition, if you will. And then after that, we were basically able to go ahead, give it the specs we want to. We gave this VM, the VM we have, 30 gigabyte of memory, and we gave it like 16. I believe we gave it 16. You know, let's just find out what we gave it to because I can't remember now. Yeah, we gave it 32 cores. Now I remember we gave it 32 core, you know, of processor power. After that, we will give it 150 gigabyte of storage. After that, then we went ahead and actually, enabled the virtualization support, hyper nested virtualization support via the SSH inside the Nutanix, cluster. After that, we were able to download the VHD from the Windows, store, if you will, or Windows Microsoft site for Server 2025 preview. Well, then we basically attached the VHD on the nested VM setup, and we were able to go ahead and launch a VHD and utilize Server 2025 with a nested setup. That's all we learned this video. Hopefully you are able to benefit from it. If you do like this type of video, do us a favor. Please hit the thumbs, the likes, like button. That will be helpful. It will tell the YouTube algorithm that this content is good. Also, it will help us, promote our content more to other people that may not know. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. And also, if you have any question, please comment below. If we miss anything, comment below. If there's something that you think we could do better, comment below. Thank you for watching. Have a great rest of the day. Peace.